Hi, I'm Dr. Zachary Cole, and I'd like to welcome you to this special video training titled Why You Still Have Low Thyroid Symptoms Despite Taking Medication or Being Told That Your Lab Tests Are Normal. So I want to thank you for taking the time out to watch this today. I would encourage you to watch this video in its entirety because the information we're going to cover today, first of all, most people have never heard before. And if you choose to apply this to your life, this information absolutely has the ability to completely transform your health. And look, don't just take my word for it. Whenever we're done here, I would encourage you to scroll beneath this video and watch some of the testimonials of clients who have gone through our program and just hear their stories and their testimonies and the results that they've gotten by applying this information to their lives. I'd like to start out with a quote from one of my favorite movies called Catch Me If You Can. This was shot in the early 2000s. You probably recognize two of the actors on screen here, Christopher Walken, Leonardo DiCaprio. And in this movie, Watkins plays Leonardo DiCaprio's dad. And he tells him a quote early on in the movie that illustrates the importance of perseverance. And the quote goes like this. He says, "Two mice fell into a bucket of cream. The first mouse gave up quickly and drowned. The second mouse wouldn't quit. He struggled and he struggled until he churned that cream into butter and he walked out." You know, if you're watching this right now, you may feel like you're struggling. You may be taking medications for thyroid that makes your blood work look better, but you still have all the same symptoms. Or maybe you haven't even had any lab testing done yet, and you have all these symptoms you're experiencing, like the inability to lose weight despite changing your diet around and exercising. Slow metabolism, digestive issues, especially constipation. Chronic fatigue where you're never getting enough sleep, and when you do get enough, you never feel rested throughout the day. Brain fog, depression and anxiety, or even maybe you feel like you're too cold all the time. Your hands and your feet are cold, or your body temperature feels like you can't ever put on enough layers. Or maybe you have dry skin, your hair is falling out, brittle nails. All of these symptoms across the spectrum for thyroid that may make you feel like you're struggling. And this probably may not even be the first webinar that you've watched before on thyroid too. So I would encourage you, even if you are feeling hopeless, you have to continue on and continue persevering, because only by addressing the underlying root cause of why you're sick and why you have these symptoms will you be able to regain your health again. Okay, so who am I and why are you watching me on this video today? Once again, my name is Dr. Zachary Cole. I've had the good fortune of working with hundreds of clients across the country via our virtual functional medicine coaching programs where we help them address the underlying root causes of why they're sick. If you haven't heard of the term functional medicine before, that's literally just a way of practicing that's designed to address the underlying root cause of why a person has the symptoms that they do. It involves advanced lab testing, nutritional changes, detoxification, really whatever steps a person needs that we uncover through testing, we supply and support the body with what it needs to regain its health again. So it's a little bit of an investigative way to see why is the body dysfunctioning, and not just a method of giving the body drugs to suppress and cover up the symptoms. Now, look, I wasn't always this healthy, and I didn't always teach clients this way to regain their health. This is me back in 2007. I was in college at this time, and if you see here on the screen, hopefully you can read these words here. At this time in my life, I had lost my health. I was 30 pounds overweight in this video. I suffered from chronic fatigue and extreme, I felt like I was tired and have the afternoon crash every single day. My biggest problem was that I had GI and bloating issues. My gut was always distended. I was bloated no matter what I ate. I didn't have money to get tested back then because I was in college, but I know, looking back now, and what I know now, that I had low hormone symptoms in regards to testosterone, adrenal gland fatigue, and low thyroid problems. And it got to the point where I had put on so much weight, and I looked so bloated all the time, that when I came home back to Pittsburgh, I went to school in Atlanta. When I came home back to Pittsburgh, my friends and my brothers literally gave me the nickname Puffy, because I looked puffy and bloated and distended all the time. Nice friends, right? Well, hey, the good news is that by applying the same principles that I use for my patients, I applied this to my own life in not that long of a time. It didn't take that long to regain my health, that this is me here today. And this is years ago that I applied this, but in a matter of less than 6 months, I was able to completely reverse everything by addressing the underlying root cause of why I was sick. So today, amazing digestion, awesome energy. I lost the 30 pounds. I have a great workout and diet routine. Amazing memory. I sleep like a baby. I completely reversed all the symptoms that I was experiencing back in 2007. So this is what we teach our clients to do. And if you're interested in addressing the underlying root cause of why you have these symptoms and not taking a drug to cover them up, this is the approach and the plan that we need to take. And it starts with understanding about how the thyroid works and really why you have the symptoms that you do. So let's talk about the reason why you're here. I want to discuss with you the 3 main causes of thyroid problems that nearly everyone is missing, possibly even including your medical doctor. So secret number 1, or problem number 1, deals with a T4 to a T3 conversion issue. And I want to break this down on the screen exactly what this means. And I don't want to get too technical about things today, but I want you to understand exactly how your brain, your thyroid, and these peripheral organ systems work with each other. So starting out in the brain here, your brain has 2 glands in it. One's called your hypothalamus and one's called your pituitary. Your hypothalamus acts as the thermostat for your thyroid and for your hormones, meaning just like when the temperature gets too cold in your house, the thermostat kicks on and it turns on the furnace to increase the heat. Same thing with your brain, including your hypothalamus here. So if your thyroid levels start to get too low, not enough T4 and T3, your hypothalamus senses that and it tells your pituitary to release a hormone called TSH. Now, TSH stands for thyroid stimulating hormone, and you may have had this tested before. A lot of people that come into our office, if they've had any blood work done, usually it's a T4 or a TSH and a T4 on their thyroid panel. As we're going to learn today, that's enough to tell you if you have a thyroid problem, but it's not nearly enough detail to tell you where that lies in your body. So, TSH is released by the pituitary in our brain, and it stands for thyroid stimulating hormone. It's literally your brain's way of stimulating your thyroid to begin working more, to create more thyroid hormone. If you've had a blood test and your TSH is high, that means you don't have enough hormone, your thyroid's not working well, and your brain is literally screaming at the thyroid, make more hormone. Now, what's supposed to happen in a normal thyroid is your thyroid needs certain things. It needs amino acids like tyrosine, it needs iodine, you need selenium, these different vitamins and minerals and nutrients that your thyroid gland needs to make the T3 and the T4 hormone. Now what happens is when your thyroid makes hormone, most of what your thyroid makes is T4 hormone. 80 to 90% of the hormone coming out of your thyroid is T4. The irony is that T3 is what you actually need to have a great metabolism, to lose weight, to have good digestion, to have great energy and think clearly and feel happy in a sense of well-being. All the benefits that we think of when it comes to thyroid, they come from T3. So what has to happen is whenever your thyroid makes T4, it must get converted into T3 in some of these peripheral organ systems. And this process is similar to refining crude oil into gasoline. If we pull oil out of the ground, you can't put that in your car and run your engine. The engine's going to break. Same thing with your thyroid. If you want to run your metabolism and run your cells of your body, we need to convert T4 into an active form of thyroid called T3. Now, where this happens in your body is in your digestive system and your liver to a large degree, and to a small degree in your kidneys too. So I walk you through this to help you understand that if these peripheral organ systems are not working well, or if your thermostat is broken and not sensing if you have enough thyroid hormone or not, it's not going to really matter too much if we're taking medication that it will make your blood work look better. Taking like a T4 hormone replacement medication will make your blood work look better, but it will do very little to affect how you feel if your body can't take that T4 hormone and convert it into T3 in these organ systems. And so that's why we do testing to see how is your gut functioning right now. Is your liver over toxic and burdened? Are you able to make that conversion from T4 into T3? Because only in that realm are you going to be able to get your health back and feel good again. All right, secret number 2, we're going to talk about something known as cellular inflammation, and this really deals with your cell's ability to absorb that T3 thyroid hormone. So when we talk about cellular inflammation, Time magazine way back in 2004 was one of the first magazines talking about that there's an underlying link, an underlying root cause behind all chronic diseases, from Alzheimer's to dementia to cancer to heart disease to diabetes, autoimmune disease, and even thyroid and hormone disorders. Even though they're all different conditions, they all have one commonality, one common link behind all of them. And it's a process known as cellular inflammation. And this type of inflammation occurs silently, meaning it's not the same type of inflammation as if you have a sore shoulder or if you cut your hand and it's red and inflamed. This type of inflammation occurs at the cellular level. So let me break this down to help you understand exactly how this relates to your thyroid and how fixing this problem is the first step step in order to regaining your health. So if we look at a cell here, probably similar to myself, you were taught back in school that the most important part of the cell is what? It's the nucleus, right? Because that's where all the DNA is stored, your genes, your chromosomes, everything is in the nucleus and is most important. Well, that was true, or at least we thought it was true back then, but our understanding through epigenetic sciences is actually rewriting our understanding about our cells and how they function. And actually, if you look here at this ring, this double membrane, every cell in your body has a protective coating, a capsule around it called the cellular membrane. And we're finding out through epigenetic science that this is the most important part of our cells because it deals with things moving into your cells to promote health and toxins being able to leave through your cells. So follow me here for a minute. We're not going to get too technical. Just like you need to eat healthy foods, that food breaks down into minerals and vitamins and nutrients that your cells need to make energy and to power your body. So this water, oxygen, and nutrients, they get into the cell by passing through this membrane. Likewise, toxins, carbon dioxide, metabolic waste has to be able to leave through the cell to be processed by your detox systems out of your body. So this moving in of the good things, moving out of the bad things is called cellular fluidity. And in a healthy cell, this happens normally. When we talk about cellular inflammation, it means that something has caused this membrane to become inflamed and damaged. And when this occurs, this membrane becomes impenetrable from the good things getting in and the toxins and the metabolic waste and the carbon dioxide leaving through the cell. And look, if toxins cannot leave the cell, if stuff begins to build inside the cell, it's going to build and build and build until it reaches a point where your cells can no longer support life. They will reach a point where they become so toxic that it seems like all of a sudden things become triggered and you'll start expressing symptoms like you can't lose weight the way you once could anymore. You start developing brain fog and you can't think clearly. You feel like you're always tired and always drained. Poor digestion, I mean, all these symptoms that are benchmarkers of health. If your cells become sick and toxic, those are the symptoms that your body will begin to start expressing. It's no different for thyroid too. Now, I have a whole other video about what causes cellular inflammation. For this purpose today, just understand that a lot of this stuff is dietary. I mean, the sugar and the processed grains in our diet, the toxins in our food supply, the genetically modified foods, preservatives, dyes, colorings, the hormones in our food supply, the inflammatory, rancid fats, the man-made fats that we're eating on our diet. These things get into our body through our diet and they congest our cellular membranes. So the first step in order to regaining our health is to clean up our diet, change our lifestyle around. There's specific protocols and ways to do this correctly, to heal our cells and restore this fluidity of the good things moving in and the toxins being able to leave through your cells. Now, how does this process, this inflammatory process, how does this affect your hormones? If we look here on the screen, these hormones at the top, and hopefully you can see this here, every hormone, to get its message inside of your cells, has to bind to what's called a hormone receptor site. T3 hormone, once it's made by your thyroid, made into T4, and let's say it gets converted into T3 in those peripheral organs that we talked about, the next step, T3 has to be able to bind to the receptor site, bind to the site to get its message inside of the cell. Now, in times when this membrane becomes inflamed, all of these receptor sites for hormones become blunted, meaning even if you have enough T3 hormones circulating in your system, if it cannot bind to the receptor site and get its message inside the cell, we're still going to have all the same symptoms of a low or a hypothyroid disorder. So when those receptor sites become blunted, the hormone cannot bind to it the way it's supposed to. It's not able to get its message inside the cell. So when we talk about symptom or problem number 2 here for the thyroid, this is really one of the most important things that I work with all my clients, regardless of their symptoms, that needs to be healed first if we're going to address the underlying root cause of why we're sick. And here's why. We talked about those peripheral organ systems, right? Well, organs are made up of tissues, and tissues are made up of cells. So when we break it down, even our organs, every part of our body, when we break it down to the most basic unit of life, we're only as healthy as our cells. You heal your cells, you get your body well. All right, finally, secret number 3 here, autoimmune thyroiditis. This is something that I see so many patients come in here with who've had lab testing done that their doctors never tested for. They never tested to see, is that person autoimmune? And why this is so important is because a person that has autoimmune thyroid issues is a totally different condition, totally different case than somebody who just has a sluggish or a low functioning thyroid due to other reasons. In an autoimmune case, and let's talk about this for a minute, there are two cases, there's two different kinds of autoimmune thyroid disorders. The first one is called Hashimoto's thyroiditis. It means it's an inflammatory autoimmune condition of the thyroid. That means that your thyroid is not just dysfunctioning on its own, it's being attacked by your immune system. Your immune system is creating white blood cells against the thyroid, and they're going in there and attacking it. The other one is called Graves' disease, and Graves' disease is much less common, and it has different symptoms. It's more hyperthyroid, where people with Graves' disease tend to be thin, they lose a lot of weight, they have a very fast metabolism and feel hot all the time. Sometimes their eyes actually can bulge out a little bit, and their heart can race too, called tachycardia. So most conditions of Graves' disease, it can't go on forever at that pace, so it burns out and ultimately becomes Hashimoto's, which is the low-functioning hypothyroid version of autoimmune disease. The reason why this is different is because if we're talking about an autoimmune condition, and that's why your thyroid is dysfunctioning, that's ultimately going to be a gut issue to fix. And here's why. 90% of your immune system is located in the gut. If your immune system is attacking your thyroid incorrectly, which your immune system should never attack your own tissue, we have to go and heal the gut first. And that's a whole topic for another day. I've done videos on gut health. 2,000 years ago, the father of medicine, Hippocrates, said all disease begins in the gut. I cannot tell you how true that is for any of my clients that are not just facing hormone issues, but from diabetes to heart conditions. I mean, any of the things we work with clients on, we have to heal the gut first. If we suppress the immune system's attack on your thyroid, not through medication, but through getting the right foods in or out of your diet, that stops the attack on the thyroid, and the thyroid is able to heal correctly then. The reason why most doctors don't test for autoimmune thyroid conditions is simply because their treatment remains the same. They're going to give more T4 replacement hormone. But if this is the case, if you get tested and you see that you are Hashimoto's, then you can take T4 replacement hormone as much as you want to. It's not going to stop your body or your immune system from attacking the thyroid. That needs to stop first. Okay, so when I take on a client, there are some specific markers I want to look at. As you can tell, the thyroid is very complicated. There are specific markers to look at to determine not just if you have a thyroid problem, but where does that thyroid problem lie in your body. So at the top here we have TSH, we're going to have T4 and T3. T3 uptake, a very important hormone to see are your cells absorbing that T3. Free T3 and free T4, something called reverse T3, which if you're in a state of chronic stress, your body will actually take T4 and convert it into an unutilizable form of T3 called reverse T3. And a lot of people who have been in chronic stress, chronic fatigue states are locked into that condition right now. The antibody test to see if you're autoimmune, TPO and TGA. We also look at things like iodine, selenium levels, all of these important markers that are needed to tell if a person has a thyroid problem and really where that problem is inside of their body. Beyond the thyroid, watch my blood work video too, because I run a full functional blood chemistry panel on every client that we work with. So this is just the thyroid markers here. We want to look at red and white blood cell levels, iron markers, inflammation markers, liver and kidney function markers, digestive markers, vitamin markers, and our ability to detox markers. So there are a lot of important things that we'll look at in a blood panel that doctors used to run before the 70s when insurance companies started dictating which tests could and couldn't be run, and now most people get very little lab testing done. So we do comprehensive testing, and even beyond just the blood work, if a person's case calls for it, we might do a comprehensive stool analysis. We could do a saliva hormone panel to look at adrenal gland fatigue and estrogen and testosterone and progesterone, our sex hormones. I mean, heavy metal testing, food allergy testing. We can test whatever the case warrants, but at a bare minimum, if we're talking about thyroid, the blood tests and these thyroid markers are crucial to get the correct information needed to design a customized plan for that client. After learning all this today and understanding that there is another approach out there, I'd like to ask you a question. How would it feel to get your life back right now? If we apply these principles and these strategies that we use for our clients to help them regain their health, do the correct lab testing, and customize a program specifically to your needs, how would it feel to be able to do things like double your energy right now? Be able to lose a couple pants or dress sizes, give your confidence back, and sleep better through the night actually feeling rested. Balance your hormones, heal your digestive issues, and really what all these things can boil down to is the ability to do the things you want to in your life and be there for your friends, for your family, get to work again, do the things that you want to in your life, and ultimately get your health back. If we were able to accomplish this, what would that be worth to you right now? If you're interested in learning more, I would encourage you to take the next step and schedule a free 20-minute phone consultation where you and I will hop on the phone together. We'll discuss your symptoms that you're experiencing right now, really your situation and where you're at, what you tried, what's working, what's not working, who have you seen, what testing you had done, and we'll be able to answer all your questions and determine if you're a candidate for what we do with our programs and if we think we can help your case. So if you're interested in scheduling this, first of all, we do only take serious inquiries only. We can only take a limited number of new clients on per month. We don't have a cookie cutter, one-size-fits-all program. We don't do group coaching. It is one-on-one. So because of that, we can only take on a certain number of new clients per month. If you're serious about your health, if you're willing to make dietary and lifestyle changes, if your health is your most valuable possession and you're willing to invest into it, then you're a great candidate for what we do here. Anyone who's not a good fit for what we do is really just boils down to one thing. You're not that serious about your health. So look, anyone who's happy taking the medications, doing for what insurance pays for, which is the standard model of care. If you're just not serious about your health, or if you're only in information gathering mode right now, please bookmark this video and contact us in the future whenever you're ready to get started. So in order to schedule this free phone consult, very simple. Just simply click the button beneath this video or wherever you're watching this, on our Facebook page or on our website or YouTube channel. There should be a link or a button somewhere. Click that, enter your information in, and someone from our office will contact you within the next 24 hours to get that phone consultation set up. So, hey, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this today. I hope it was very helpful for you. I would encourage you to click the like button, click the share button, so that there's so many people that need to hear this information that have never heard this before, and just like I started at the beginning, they feel hopeless, that there's nothing that can be done about their health. So share this with somebody who needs to hear this. Click the button, fill out your information. You and I will hop on the phone together, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. So thanks a lot. Have a great day.